It's January 23rd, 2017, Edible Acres, and today we're going to share with you how my wonderful wife Sasha makes homemade soap using tallow, lye, and distilled water. It's a pretty basic process, and she's going to share with you what she's learned so far. This is her 4th batch, and it works great.
Hi, I'm Sasha, and today we're going to be making a 100% tallow soap using tallow that Sean and I have been making from suet we've been bartering for from a local butcher. So we have our pot of tallow that we cooked it over the wood stove, and I've strained out all the solids, and we've given those to the dogs and chickens. And yeah, then we have lye that we ordered on the internet because we found it really difficult, or actually impossible, to find it anywhere around here. Eventually we'd like to use the ash from the wood stove to make the lye, but we haven't gotten there yet. And then the same thing, distilled water, that in the future we want to be using rainwater, but I didn't realize that you could do that, so we're using this for now. We're going to be using 60 ounces of tallow for a double recipe of soap, which is just from a recipe that I found on the internet that seems pretty good. I don't know how we'll want to change it over time, but we're not really at that point yet. This is only the 4th batch of soap that we've made. So we'll measure the tallow. So now we're pouring the tallow into a crock pot set on low. We just got the crock pot at the Salvation Army for, I think, $10, and we got to check it to see that it worked ahead of time, so we didn't end up with something that didn't work. Now we're going to measure the water and lye, and then we'll add it to the tallow. So it's really, really important, I have read, that you add the lye into the water and not the water into the lye, or you could have an explosion and it wouldn't be fun. So first we're going to measure the water. It's 22 ounces of distilled water for our purposes here today. So I'm going to measure 22 ounces of water. That's, pretty good. So we're going to pour that into this stainless steel pot, also a Salvation Army find. Rachel Ray brand, pretty nice. Okay. Then we're going to measure the lye. And I'm going to adorn myself with goggles and gloves so that I have a higher safety chance. Okay, so then I'm going to measure twice 3.88 ounces of lye. If you're better at math, you can add that up. So, okay, so we've measured out the water into a stainless steel pot and the lye. And now we're going to add the lye to the water wearing our safety goggles and gloves. So I'm just going to pour it in.
And that was 3.88 twice.
Times 2, yep,
okay.
And 22 ounces of water. We could, I don't know what that is, but there's something weird in there. Okay, we can write out the recipe. I just found it off the internet, which I think I said. Okay, so the lye is in the water. And then you're going to stir it up. It gets strangely hardened and into one mass on the bottom initially until you kind of can break it up. And then the water starts to get really hot. And you definitely do not want to have a bare hand anywhere near that. I don't know if you can see in the video, but there's steam coming off of it, whatever reaction is taking place between the water and the lye. It's like a creepy pool of heat. So once you can tell it's all been broken up and absorbed in the water, you just let it sit for a few minutes. Okay, so now we're going to pour the lye water mixture into the tallow. And just slowly pouring. You can see it almost kind of looks like it's becoming soap right away. It has that thick, soapy look. But it still has a ways to go. So, poured it all in. And then I'm going to wash this. Put a little vinegar in that pot to neutralize the lye before I really get to washing it. And I'm just going to stir the lye and water into the tallow. And now we're going to blend it. We're blending until we reach what's called trace, which is when the lye and the tallow have really become one, I guess. So we're going to blend. Takes kind of a while, and actually maybe you have a better immersion blender, but this one gets really, really hot before it reaches that period. So I generally have to get it to a certain point, then stop for a little bit, and then finish it up. But we'll start now. So I've been doing it for a few minutes, blending the lye and tallow, and you can see it's not done, but it's becoming a lot more viscous, I guess, thicker looking, but kind of like a watery soup that you want to become thicker and more creamy. So we're going to keep going. We'll be back in a little while. Okay, so the immersion blender is burning hot, and the tallow water lye mixture is at the trace stage, which is supposed to be like pudding. Like if you run the immersion blender through it, it should leave a line, which it does. You can see it's pretty gloppy and ready to cook in its next way. So I'm just going to take the immersion blender off, put the lid on the crock pot, leave it on low for anywhere from, I guess, like 45 minutes to an hour. You kind of watch it after the 45-minute spot, and we'll come back to it when it gets closer. So the crock pot's on low, the lid is on, and it's in there. It's going to start bubbling up, and as long as it doesn't flow over, which it has not done for us yet, I have had to like lift the lid a tiny bit and just push down some of the bubbly stuff that's gotten on the rim, but you really shouldn't have to touch it. You should just be able to leave it. So we're going to leave it, and we'll be back. So the soap mixture has been cooking for a while in here, and it's looking pretty close to done. Actually, probably is done. And to check that, we're going to do something called the ZAP test, which seemed really wild to me when I first read about it on the internet, but I read about it a bunch of places and I tried it, and I think it's the thing to do. So you're going to grab a little bit of your soap mixture and touch it to your tongue. And when you touch it to your tongue, if it just tastes like soap, but it doesn't zap you with the residual lye that hasn't fully been cooked out or whatever, absorbed into the tallow, you know it's done. If it doesn't zap you, it's done. That didn't zap me. Just tastes like soap. So I'm going to add some essential oil to it. Just kind of, you have to add quite a bit. Unfortunately, I think the heat of the soap evaporates a lot of the essential oils. So I put in a lot more drops than you would think you would. It smells pretty strong when it's hot, but then it really lessens by the time the soap cools. So put a bunch in, stirring it up, and then I'm going to put it into this baking pan that we got that I've lined with cloth. Everywhere on the internet that I looked seemed to think you need to do this into some sort of silicone or buy some kind of plastic thing, but I just cut an old bed sheet and I've been using that and it's worked great. So you don't need to buy anything to do this, or you need to buy some things, but you can buy them all at the Salvation Army, and you can definitely use reusable cloth and nothing goes wrong. So keep that in mind if you think you want to make soap and everyone's telling you you need to buy some plastic stuff. You don't. So now all the soap is smoothed out as best I can in the cloth-filled mold. And I'm just gonna fold it over, kind of press it down, and let it sit till tomorrow. Then I'll cut it up and put it to cure in a box. I'm gonna get it out of here. Wow. Wait a minute. Ooh. This one's harder to get out than the last one I did. Okay. There we go. Really stuck to the cloth. It smells pretty good. So here's the, I guess I'm sure there's a way to make it like a more perfect looking thing. I did read that the hot process soap, the benefit is the fast cure, and the downfall is it doesn't look as pretty, maybe, but I like a weird looking thing, so I like this. Just gonna cut it. You could be more precise if you wanted to be, but I'm just cutting it like it was a lasagna that you wouldn't really like to eat.
It smells very good.
Okay, so we're just using old mailing cardboard boxes and parchment paper to layer the soap so it can just sit and cure. So just putting it in the box with a little space between them, which maybe isn't necessary, but feels good to do. So giving them a little breathing room. Okay. Then we're just gonna let it sit in here for a while and check it after like a week and see what it seems like. So this is what the soap looks like once it's cured for about 10 days. This is one that I made obviously 10 days ago, so it's different. I put chamomile flowers on it. I think it's just really for show, but looks kind of pretty. It's a lot harder. Still seems like it could cure for longer and be nicer, but yeah, it's soap. It works like soap. We liked it.